everyone. Welcome to this episode of Hollywood Matrimony Live. We are live on Facebook and YouTube. Make sure you go find us. Check out our website, hollywoodmatrimony.com. Obviously, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. What's the other? It's not Twitter anymore, is it? It's
I still call it Twitter. I don't care.
Twitter,
call it
X, Blue Sky, and Hive. Go find us everywhere.
Look, I have
All
these
right.
cool guys from Big Trouble in Little China.
Oh, I'm glad for you. All right.
Your jealousy is showing.
It is. Today we are talking about the new movie Backrooms, which is out in theaters today. So we're giving you this preview little show so you can go decide for yourself. Am I going to go tonight and watch it for date night, Friday night date night, or Saturday? I don't know. We'll find out. We're going to take a quick look at the trailer. We will try to not make any noise. I may just mute you because I don't know if I can trust you to not make noise. What happened to the sound, buddy? We're going to keep going.
Doesn't matter.
Hashtag fail.
That's fine. That's enough. You don't need to see more than that, actually.
Because that's about all that happens is he falls through the
No,
thing.
that's not all that happens. But
he falls through the thing, and then I don't even know.
Are you going to put it back on camera, or are we on camera?
We're on the camera.
Okay, I don't know. All I see is this up here, so I'm just making sure.
Babe, you need to calm the heck down.
For those that don't know what Backrooms is, there is a little backstory and history to this concept. Believe it was 2011.
Testing the speakers on stream.
This is actually probably better than to go and not knowing alone, because the trailer doesn't tell you much.
It's so confusing.
And it's not supposed to. So back in 2011, there was a picture showed up of these yellow rooms, like one just random room on Creepypasta, which they were actually, I think it was something like they wanted people to post like unnerving photos or unexplainable photos or whatever. And this photo became viral because people started making up stuff about what this photo is and where this is, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then you jump ahead to like 2022, I believe it is. And this kid, Kane Parsons, I want to say not Iceman King Parsons from the WWF back in the day, but Kane Parsons, he, I think he was like 16 or something like that, maybe. But he started making these short films based on that concept of that photo, and they went viral. They became this big thing. And he created this whole world of this organization that had found the rooms and all this different thing. And so apparently A24 approached him and pitched an idea to make a feature film, which is where we're at now. You don't need to see the other stuff. I haven't watched them all yet, so maybe there's some deeper backstory that makes sense to it. But this movie is kind of a standalone thing. But they offered him money to make the film, and technically at 19 years old, he made this first feature film that's getting all these rave reviews and big publicity. They're pitching that it could potentially make $40 to $50 million this weekend, maybe even be the biggest box office for any A24 film today.
It's crazy.
And the guy's already been offered a bunch of studio deals and everything else. So anyway, so that's where we're at with Backrooms. Basically, the simple premise is a man who owns a furniture store, and he's going through life trials and tribulations, and he's in therapy, blah, blah, blah. And he discovers a secret door into this, what seems like
office
back part, office back
space.
part, but it's almost a whole nother world of just back rooms that are never ending.
Yes.
So it's like a maze and whatever else.
Correct.
And I also read that they built this entire like 30,000 square foot rooms. They actually built it out, and they said, and it was so intricate that even people that working on the film would get lost sometimes, and they have to like radio to find their way back.
Can you please find me?
Yeah. So anyway, that's the story we're at.
So that's him, and then this is his therapist, Mary, and
she has her own issues.
She has her own issues, and so it's really about the two of them. But at one point, she's like, he's like such in a state. He comes to her It's like, I found these back rooms, and she's just like, okay, can you really tell me what's going on? She doesn't believe it. But then he calls and leaves a mysterious message like, I'm never coming back. And so she decides to go to the furniture store to see where he's at.
And that's where we're going to stop, because we're not going to spill any more of that stuff.
And there she is.
But yeah, the majority of the movie is there's a long build up to their relationship and in his world and in their therapy and all this stuff. They don't have a relationship, but yeah.
The therapist-patient relationship.
And then his discovery of this place. There's a couple of time hops that at first don't make a little sense until you kind of pay attention. It's not a bad thing.
No.
It's just you don't realize how long it's been because it's
Correct.
not really clear. And then they kind of do it through dialogue. But I know it's classified as a horror film. Yeah, I don't think it's scary, but there are jump moments.
Yeah.
But what they do brilliantly, like the set designs and the stuff they created for this world, is genius because it's so simplistic in just these rooms. But then you'll notice, if you've seen the whole trailer, where there's suddenly like half of a couch like sticking out of the ground, or picture that's coming out of the wall that looks like it merged with something else, because they kind of sort of explain it when you get to that point. But it's very engaging just visually alone. And a lot of the movie is actually very little dialogue.
There is little dialogue. I know at one point you got your hearing device, and at one point you just took it off because no one was talking for like 10 minutes.
The music then gets a little bit loud.
Yeah,
so
I
didn't want to blare it in my head. So you have a couple of stages. You have the initial setup of everything, which is a little mundane and slow. It's still interesting and it's well acted, but it could possibly, I can see it possibly putting people off, like, this movie is getting boring. Like, what is the point of all this? Because it doesn't feel initially like it's going anywhere.
Yeah. But you have to stick with it, because there's one scene. The most memorable scene to me is her scene. And it's just a very calm. You see, obviously she's dealing with some trauma. He is too. I think they're both dealing with loss, sadness, depression. I think it's a very interesting look at mental health.
Yeah.
Because since she's the therapist, but she also has issues. And there's that one scene that was so impactful to me, and that's where I was like, I understand the whole thing, and then at the end it twists you anyway. You don't really know. But there's one scene where it's just like a calm descent, like you're going down a layer, like to your most base human instinct of who you are. And I think that's maybe where both of them get lost, because I don't think either one of them really knows who they are. And so being thrust into this weird backroom version of life, whatever it is, because we don't really know. And if we did, we weren't going to tell you. But they're trying to figure it out. And so could it be that until you figure yourself out, you can't figure out the maze? I don't know.
Because there's also
so impactful to me, that look at that, your mental
There's also
state.
something clearly terrifying within the maze that they're dealing with.
Yes.
And its big reveal was kind of interesting because it's almost comical.
Yes. But
it's also terrifying, because and I say terrifying in the term terrifying, not like you get scared, but of what it is and how it's connected to the real world and everything. But it's I don't know if you noticed later, but there's elements that show all of these rooms in another scene. Like, I want to say that because I want to spoil it.
Yes.
But and it's in the second, almost the end of the film.
Yes, of someone's life.
Yes, and you start saying, wait, that's and
that's why I start to question at one point, like, is any of this real?
So here's what's interesting about this movie is it relies on tension.
Yes.
Like, you're walking around, and like he's wandering around the first time he gets in these back rooms, and it's just walking, and you don't know what's around every corner. And most of it looks just like what you're seeing now, which is just yellow walls and fluorescent lighting, and it's not overly
scary,
decorated. It's not overly scary. It's very mundane.
But you randomly maybe think you hear voices and people walking, and you're like,
yeah. But then you'll turn the corner, all of a sudden there'll be something hanging on the wall, or a hole in the floor, or
a door in the ceiling.
Yeah, or a little tiny door like an Alice in Wonderland.
Yeah.
It very much made me think of Alice in Wonderland.
Very much. You're going down that rabbit hole.
And
I'm
but
like,
yeah, and what I really liked, and this might be off-putting to some people, is when you get to the movie, it has a very abrupt ending.
Yeah.
and it has very little explanation to anything.
But I think
But you don't need it because I think
I got it.
well, but I think
But I think your interpretation is different than mine.
I think it's specifically designed to where there's a definitive idea, but I think it's for you to have your own interpretation of what these back rooms are for, or what they're doing, and what are these people thinking, and what are they getting out of it, and why did they do this, or why did they change, or why did they not want to stay, or why did they go?
And like, why would you, like, if you found a weird secret doorway, like, would you like? I'm not going in there. Shoot.
But and
you probably would.
I probably would. But there are characters that have that same mentality, and they don't stick around very long.
No. Because they're like, peace out.
Yeah, so there's a horror element to it, but I think a lot of it's straight up
psychological
tension.
Thriller.
It is.
It's more in your head, because then you start to think, okay, what would I do? Because I totally was like, run. You know, at one point when there's something in there in these rooms, and I turned to you, I'm like, and you just laughing because I'm like, I'm running. But then at this point, I didn't even know where I was, because there's different, like an entire city, I feel like, in here.
And well, and it does weave in and out, not as much as
it was stressful.
Not very much, but there are some long sequences that are like found footage type cameras.
Oh, that was the other thing. Warning, if you
it is not a found footage movie.
Sickness,
but the original shorts are found footage types. So that's why I think they brought that element in. So the movie opens with a found footage type thing, kind of sets the tone of the rooms themselves. And then there's an element, but it makes sense to the what they're doing with the camera. It's just not just it's not the normal found footage. You're like, put the camera down. Why would you still be carrying the camera? It fits the narrative.
It makes sense to why they're doing it.
But more often than not, it's not found footage. So it's
there are some moments, the very beginning for sure. I was a little headachy, but I made it through okay. Yeah. So it was fine.
There is an unnerving element to this film because you don't know what's going to come next. You don't know what's around the next corner. Some of the architecture plays tricks on your brain because you see things and then you don't know. There's even an element in the movie
where it's like over here and then it's over here.
Yeah,
and then
there's an element like when he finds the door, he sees this light, almost like the door is cracked. But if he stands over here, the light's gone. If he stands here, he can see it. So he had to walk like straight at it, But then I think there's an element too that they don't talk about, but if you pay attention, you'll see it. Where clearly he was taking things and moving things around and stuff, trying to figure out. So the one thing that kind of made you remember this is the room where your door is to leave became a room just like everything else.
Yeah.
Outside of they was at least smart to draw a door frame around everything. Yeah. So this is where the door is. But yeah, it's a compelling movie, and it's another one of these like most intellectual horror type films that won't work for everybody. Mm-mm. There's no satisfying ending of explanation, and here's exactly what's going on, and let's spoon feed you. That you have a character, Phil, that basically says, I think one of the last lines of the movies, he says, could be the most important thing we've ever discovered. And then it just kind of ends. And I saw an interview with Kane Parsons saying that he purposely hasn't revealed the full nature and background of everything. He said he has.
I think he could do tons.
Well, he says he has tons of story elements for the back rooms, without ever revealing the story of the back rooms. So this is one of those things that different people could get lost in the back rooms. They could come across somebody else. It could be intertwined, or each one could be their own thing.
Yeah.
So
there are things there.
Yeah, it's not a bloody movie. There is blood in it, but it's not a super gore.
2 times.
There was a few jump scares. She jumped 3 or 4 times
at the very beginning. Like right, I sat down and it's like.
The guy next to me kept jumping too.
Oh, he was a nice kid.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I actually enjoyed this movie. I think I liked it more after I sat with it for a while. I wasn't sure how I felt about it when I left.
I feel like I think I get it, but.
Well, when I left it, I was like, that was a compelling movie, but did I like it? And then when I sat down to write the review, I was like, okay, I really liked it. I feel like it's a borderline brilliant film in its execution.
Yeah.
And then the more I sat with it the next day, I thought about it, man, I really like that movie. Yeah. But it's another one of those that I can easily see somebody not liking.
Yeah, some people may get bored.
Yeah.
And just be like, this is dumb.
Yeah,
you gotta let yourself be in it.
Yeah, there's movies that come along that they walk a line that is not in the middle. It's either good or not good. Yeah. You either love it or you hate it. and there's no gray area. I think this is one of those
Just sit
movies.
in it, like be in the movie, be in it.
If you can minimize how much information you know about it, I think it's even better to see this without seeing the other
Like
things.
I knew nothing.
Because knowing nothing, you're in a complete
Open space.
well, you're completely lost of I don't know where this is going because
I had no idea.
this idea doesn't lend itself to where you can sit around and think like, oh, I know what's going on here.
I had no idea.
And even when
I
they
still don't know.
start spoon feeding you a little bit of knowledge, you still don't know because then they change their dialogue, and it's like, but it's fantastic. I thought it was
It's
a fantastic
interesting.
movie,
It's a
but it
super
is a
interesting
unique movie.
Yeah.
And in the world of sequels and remakes and
Yeah,
everything else, this
something
is
different.
not that. This
There
is
you
something
go.
different.
All right, so go check it out. It is in theaters now. Very quickly, let's take.
And
Oh.
this is the first movie in a while that seats were sold out.
Yeah,
The
like
theater
several
was
theaters.
packed.
Like we tried to go to our normal theater, regular screening, like time that we like. That one was full. Let's check the next time. That one was
and this
kinda
is,
full.
mind you, this is the
This was
Thursday
Thursday
night
night.
at like 9, 10, 11.
Yeah.
All of them
All of them
full.
were somewhat full. So
I'm,
hopefully,
I'm
it does
assuming
really
most
well.
of these people are people that were fans of the Backrooms, and so they probably
Probably.
knew about it.
There were a
So-
lot of younger people, which I don't think I was necessarily.
Well, I think they
expecting.
probably have watched the YouTube shows.
They're on
and
the
stuff.
they're on the
Because
internet.
this would technically be their generation because this started in 2011 and 2022.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
There
so
were a lot of like teenage,
Anyway,
college type kids. Anyways, okay, check it out.
Backrooms is in theaters now.
Very quickly, we're going to tell you about some free stuff because you need to know. Tell me about this.
We have a couple of copies of The Bride on 4K left. Some digital copies of Fight Club, the original movie. There's not some remake of Fight Club.
We don't talk about Fight Club.
Yes, well, we do when we're trying to give away digital copies. We have some 4K copies of both Speed Racer getting a 4K treatment as well as Wuthering Heights. Both movies are very similar. Then we have a digital copy of Hoppers, the new Disney
Such a
Pixar
fun
movie. That is a
movie.
great flick. I had zero interest in that movie.
Oh,
was
it got
actually-
me in the feels.
It was way better than I thought it was going to be. And Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which is a great socially topical, time travel-esque,
That is such a good movie too.
funny.
I
weird.
had no real interest in that one.
Yeah.
And then I really liked
And
it.
it's a great flick. So yeah, we have that one. I think that's it, right?
Yep, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. We will see you very soon.
Peace out, dog.